Hello students, I am Ms. Soumya and today along with Ms. Madhavi Malkar, I will be presenting Module 3 of the chapter Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. This video lesson is an initiative of Children's Academy group of schools. Before we begin with the lesson, requesting you all to please keep a notebook ready along with a pen. In our previous module, we learned occurrence of elements in the universe, in the Earth's crust, in the atmosphere, and in the human body. Along with that, we learned basic unit of an element, that is an atom, and its subatomic particles. Also, the classification of elements along with their examples. Out of three different substances of matter, that is elements, compounds and mixtures, we focused on the elements and its types. Accordingly, there are four types of elements and they are metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. There are 91 metals, 11 non-metals, 6 metalloids and 6 noble gases. Here are the answers to the previous assignment given in the module. Note them down. In this module, we will study the difference between the metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. And let's note down some exceptions as well. Make a table as shown. Let us differentiate between metals and non-metals under 9 different characteristics in a tabular form along with their exceptions. Here's the first criteria, that is state of matter. Metals are generally solids at room temperature except for mercury, which is liquid at room temperature. On the other hand, non-metals are gases, liquids or soft solids at room temperature. Like for example, oxygen is a gas, bromine is a liquid, while sulfur, carbon is a soft solid. Let's check out the next property, that is hardness. It means the ability to resist indentation. Indentation means dent. Since particles of solids are closely packed, metals resist indentation and therefore show hardness. However, there are certain metals which are soft solids. That is, they can be easily cut with a knife. Example, sodium and potassium. This is because the space between the particles of soft metals is less compared to particles in hard metals. Non-metals are soft solids, liquids, gases. As a result, they do not show hardness except for diamond. Diamond is the hardest substance known. Note down the points in this way. Have a look at the next property, that is luster. It means the ability to shine on reflection of light. Metals are lustrous while non-metals are non-lustrous or dull. Exception iodine and graphite, which is a non-metal but still shows luster. Note down the points. Make sure you have noted down these three properties in this way. Look over the fourth property, that is malleability, which means the ability to be drawn or beaten into sheets. Almost all metals are malleable. Example, aluminium, gold. But zinc breaks when hammered or drawn into sheets at room temperature, which is an exception. Malleability is the property shown by solids. Non-metals are either soft solids or liquids or gases. Thus, they are non-malleable in nature except for carbon fiber. Note down this property. Let us examine the fifth property, which is ductility. It means the ability to be drawn into wires. All metals except zinc are ductile. Just like malleability, non-metals do not show ductility except for carbon fiber. Note down the property and exception for metals and non-metals. Students, do you know carbon fiber is 5 times stronger than steel and twice as stiff? It is lighter than steel, making it the ideal manufacturing material for many parts like aircrafts. Note it down. Let us study the sixth property, that is conductivity of heat and electricity. Observe the difference in the image shown. Yes, bulb glows when a metal is connected and the circuit is completed, whereas the bulb does not glow when non-metal like ceramic is connected. Free electrons in metals and the compact making makes metals to conduct heat and electricity, whereas non-metals do not have free electrons and are mainly liquids and gases, which makes them bad or poor conductor of heat and electricity. Example, metal like copper is used in electrical wires, and non-metal, that is plastic, is used as an insulation. Note down the property and exception for metals and non-metals. Here's the seventh property, melting and boiling point. In our previous chapter, we studied melting point and boiling point. Can you define these terms? Correct. Melting point is the fixed temperature at which a solid changes into a liquid. Boiling point is the fixed temperature at which a liquid changes into a gas. In that case, what is the melting point of ice and boiling point of water? Yes, melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius and boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Since most of the metals are solids, a lot of heat energy is required to break the force of attraction and convert to liquid state. Therefore, metals have high melting and boiling points compared to non-metals because they are in solid state. However, there are few exceptions in metals, which is sodium and potassium have comparatively low melting and boiling point, while diamond, being non-metal, shows exception and has high melting and boiling point. Note down the property and exception for metals and non-metals. Look over the eighth property, that is sonority. What do you mean by the term? Yes, the ability of metals to produce a sound when it is tapped on a hard surface is termed as sonority. Note down the meaning of sonority. Metals are hard and therefore are sonorous, while non-metals, being brittle, liquids, gases, are non-sonorous. Note down the points. Now it's the time for the last property, which is density. In our previous module, we learned about density. Can you define the term? Correct. Density is defined as mass per unit volume. In that case, state the density in solids, liquids, and gases. Answer is solids are compactly packed and so they have high density, while liquids have less and gases are least dense. In that case, what must be the density of metals and non-metals? Yes, metals are solids in state, so are denser compared to non-metals, which are liquids or gases. However, there are exceptions in metals, that is sodium, potassium, and calcium are less dense. And on the other hand, graphite, being a non-metal, is denser compared to other non-metals. Note down the points. Make sure you have noted down all the properties in this way. So students, we studied the difference between the metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. Solve this question as your assignment. Thank you, students.